46 in Nepali. We have Nepali here. So, in 1990s, there was this revolution to overthrow the king to absolute monarchy and turn into constitutional monarchy, which again failed, and there was a massacre. And then, you know, it's a lot of history going on in Nepal. And then the Maoist revolution, which kind of brought democracy and removed the king. In 1990 revolution, there was, before that, I wrote a poem which is called Lakshmi Karki, Lakshmi Lekali. There was a young girl who was a political activist, and she said something with the queen or something. And the police came and they grabbed her and they put her in jail and they thrust guns into her private parts. And they forced her to drink urine. And it was very awesome because, awful, because this young girl was just an activist. And I wrote this poem, but it was published in a very popular magazine, which is everybody reads, and it was quite famous. Everybody liked it. But then I had to change the name of the girl because I could be taken by the police. It was like they didn't need any bail or anything. They didn't need any warrant. They could come and take you away. So I was a little scared, and a kind of underground thing. So I changed it. Actually, the name of the girl is Lakshmi Karki, but I changed Lakshmi Lekali. This poem about the turbulence, and which is quite popular now. Lakshmi Lekali, sister of our butcher dreams, Lakshmi Lekali. Lakshmi Lekali, foolish cops who conspire to dictate the hour of your slogans, who plotted to smash the heightened pagodas of your integrity, knew very little about consequences of raping the urge of a flame. Lakshmi Lekali, fragrance of your shimmering sighs tickles the battered flowers drying in the books of my anguish. Lakshmi Lekali, urine that they force you to drink has erupted ulcers of rage on my quaking shoulders. Lakshmi Lekali, the raped daughter of our hungry hearts, forgive me. My revenge, my verbal revenge isn't enough to remove leeches of insult clung to your breasts. Lakshmi Lekali, forgive rods of despotic bullishness that they thrust into your private parts have caused a crack in my skull. Lakshmi Lekali, Lakshmi Lekali, I roam victorious in the charred streets of your seething cities from the scourge of your curses. Lakshmi Lekali, yours are the waves of milk. Lakshmi Lekali, even earth shook droplets of terror to see the forced nightmare of that monstrous orgasm. Lakshmi Lekali, doom is the word. Doom of someone who, having raped a complete little supernova, waits like an infested gorilla for its lethal aftermath. Lakshmi Lekali, you, my victorious muse, my Lakshmi Lekali, your shrieks made the shimmering fishtail of Machapuchre shiver, the crevice torn open by insane barrel of the gun. A splatter of blood gushed forth and spread like some violent energy in the victorious skies of my smoldering eyes. Lakshmi Lekali. Also, I mean, in Nepal, politics and poetry has always played a vital role. Poets have always been against the regimes. Before 1950s, Nepal was kind of sequestered kingdom and little Shangri-La hidden somewhere in the Himalayas because nobody was allowed to go in. And then they opened up and the floodgates of tourism and modernism ushered in. And sort of it, you know, as compared to it, Bhutan is still like Nepal was. They don't allow many tourists, especially don't like Americans. And we allow Americans, we let them come in. And but now because everybody's coming and there's a lot of, you know, garbage in Everest and a lot of tourism. There's a lot of ecological imbalance. Well, those days, there were like these despotic Rana rulers who had kind of controlled the king. The king was just, you know, a kind of stamp. And these oligarchs were ruling the country for 200 years. And nobody could speak, nobody write a book, nobody could publish a book. And if you want to publish a book, you have to go to a committee, a government kind of office, and they will read the book and decide if you can publish it or not. Imagine you sending the thing to some government office in the county, And they're reading it and then say, oh, yes, Mr. Steve, we think it's all right, you can publish it now.
I got enough trouble with critics anyway.
Yeah. So it was like that. And then, but then poets, there was a poet called Gopal Prasad Rimal. That poet was very, very young, and he gathered some revolutionaries, and he had a trick. He would go to a temple, a shrine, and they will recite these hymns, a kind of mantras, which to rulers look like they are praying, but they were writing this revolutionary poem. They were saying, oh goddess, oh Kali, these monsters are killing us, save us from them. You know, they improvise. And nobody had an idea what was happening. And Rimal was the first poet who ushered modernism in Nepali poetry. I hold him in great respect. I wrote this poem on him. But he met a very tragic death. Because he was fighting so much for, the people who fight for the party. And that's why I hate parties. You fight for them, and he was the one who brought everything down for them. When they came to power, the Democrats, they ignored him. He was so upset. He just wanted a small job in some newspaper, a kind of editor, copy editor, because he was a humble man. They simply forgot him. And he went mad. He would go around the streets with a knife, kukri we call it, in the street, and kind of shaking it. And then he became so mad, then his family thought to send him to Benares in India for treatment. And there the doctors were foolish. They sort of thought upon a very brutal thing. They pulled a rib out of his back, so that he will be concentrating on his pain here, and not about other things, the politics. And he came limping in the streets. And he was such a marvelous poet. He wouldn't let anybody publish his book. He hit her, he said, you corrupt people, I don't want. And he had locked them inside, like I lock my dollars here. He would lock his poems. And he wouldn't want. And then when he was sleeping, some poets, they went and they secretly they took it out. He was sleeping, and then they took down, because there was no photocopy then, they wrote and they sent it back. And then they printed the book, and the book got the national award. He didn't want anybody to print his poem. And now he's the father of, he's like Whitman. And this poem for that, the great revolutionary poet, whom I love. And I have translated the book of Nepali poets, and he is the major figure. And he's my kind of inspiration there. And I take the poem from his, which is from a title of his poem called Roaring Recitals. So I would like to read this poem, which is called Gopal Prasad Rimal. And he wrote a poem which says, a day comes but once in an age. And he said that the day of revolution hasn't yet come. And I think even today the day hasn't come. Still, there's a lot of politics going on. So he was in favor of complete revolution. A poet pulls a fresh sun out from the dark, festering uterus of oligarchy. I salute you, poet. I salute. I salute your motion of smashing brass bells of orthodoxy on the threshold of history, of ushering forth a dawn of democracy. I salute you, poet. I salute. I salute your disillusionment with the wolves of change and sham suitors of democracy, who wrenched a rib out from your shattered body to keep your eyes off the storms of change and make you romp like a buffoon with harlots of anarchy in the conspiring castles of filth. I salute your disenchantment with the stammering fathers of the nation who left you crippled and alone to go mad in the blind, termite-eaten streets of the capital of fiery dragon. I salute your madness, poet. I salute your total rejection of hypocrisy, your morbid visits to the temple of Mahakal, to utter a prayer, to light a pagoda of poems, your fierce display of cookery, wanting to bring another revolution, your desire to donate semen for healthy wounds. I salute your rise from the debris of history to tell us a day comes but once in an age. Thank you.